Hello and welcome to the NGOCC podcast, the last episode of the first season. We have brought your way 12 episodes thus far, and this one is a wrap for the first season of our production of the NGOCC podcast. My name is Chivesa Cecilia Mungulu, and I am your host for today's episode, and I am pretty excited to wrap up this episode, and most importantly, I am dining with the NGOCC board chairperson, Madam Beauty Katebe, who's going to share with us a beautiful insight on the various things that the women's movement is embarking on. So without further ado, please do take time to watch our previous episodes that we've posted on our YouTube channel, and do follow us on our various platforms where we'll share with you the various things that the women's movement is currently doing. Good afternoon and welcome to the NGOCC podcast.
Good afternoon, Chivesa.
I'm excited to have you.
I am excited to be here with you as well, indeed. Finally, after such a long time of trying to
get to it.
Yes.
Okay, so let's dive into the discussion.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself before we begin to tackle the questions on the table. Tell us about yourself. Who is Beauty Katebe?
Okay, Beauty Katebe was born 56 years ago. Nice. And a mother of 4, a grandmother of 2.
Nice.
And a retired civil servant. I worked in the government of the Republic of Zambia for 24 years, and I retired in 2023.
Nice.
Yes. In my journey as a civil servant, unfortunately or fortunately, I managed to double civil service and civil society.
Nice.
Quite strange. A lot of people were asking how and why, how I did it. But luckily, I managed to work under a lot of presidents, successive governments, that allowed me to double the civil society and civil service. Yes. So in my journey as a civil servant, like I said, I doubled. So I joined Zambia National Women's Lobby when I was a little young. And I was the chairperson for NGOCC chapter. And that position, I got it the same day I joined. I don't know exactly what I did. So I went, my young brother asked me to go and join. So that day I joined, and we found that there were actually elections. So no one was coming up to get the position. So one of the men in the group just said, okay, I'm proposing that she becomes our chairperson. And everyone said, no one else, no opposing view. And I was given that. So I worked as a chairperson for the district. And then a year later, I was elected board chairperson for NGOCC province. And 2 years later, I contested for the national position. I became the chairperson for Zambia National Women's Lobby, which position I saved for 10 plus years. I think I was almost going into my 11th year. And side by side, I was serving on the Agricultural, Technical and Professional Staff Union of Zambia, where I also went up to national level. I was the chairperson for the Women Council in that organization. So I think that is what caused people to wonder how I was a civil servant and a civic leader, in the civil society at the same time. But maybe because for a long time I was used to sitting on the opposite side of government because of the labor movement. So it took me all the way to there. And now I decided to join NGOCC and try and look at the women movement from the top position. Fortunately, the women decided to vote for me, and here I am now as the chairperson for NGOCC from November 2024.
Nice.
Thank you.
Take us through what inspired you to be in this whole journey of the women's movement. You shared your story of how you just went to attend a meeting and found yourself as a chairperson. And finally, now you're at this position as NGOCC board chairperson. So how has this journey been for you?
I think my inspiration, firstly, I would start with my late mother, who was not even educated, but she was always a leader in whatever it is that she was. Whatever it is that she wanted to do, people would just say, okay, banampundu, mwala tutungululako, banampundu. So she was such a vibrant woman, and she instilled a lot of discipline in all of us. And I noticed that if my mother, who was not even educated, could lead masses, then I realized it was also in me, especially each time I am in a group, people would say, okay, well, Beauty, you will do ABCD. Yes. Everyone agrees. So when I was working as a civil servant, there were other things that were surprising me, that if there is an issue and the staff members wanted to go and see the permanent secretary, they would always say, let's ask Beauty to go and see the permanent secretary on our behalf. And that time I was a very junior officer. By the way, I joined the government as a typist. So when I was a typist, even senior officers would say, no, I think what we are trying to do, maybe if we ask Beauty to go and see the permanent secretary or go and see the director, this may happen. So I built my leadership skill through that way, and then that's how come I joined the labor movement and up to today. So I've been inspired by a lot of things. I've been inspired by the people that I've worked with, by just deciding or maybe thinking that I would be the one to lead them. I've been inspired by my mother, and I've been inspired by the fact that whatever it is that women touch, as long as they've been given the inspiration, as long as they've been given the push, they will definitely achieve. So that has just been in me, wanting to see the women get to where I think or maybe feel they would get. So I always want to push the women.
Talking about pushing the women and sitting at the position of board chairperson, driving all the 117 now member organizations for NGOCC, what is your vision for the women's movement in the next 2 years?
I think the vision for the women's movement is firstly to get a vibrant movement. That one I think is needed. And when we say getting a vibrant movement, we are not saying that it is starting now. We are getting back to what the women movement was. The women movement in Zambia has been very, very vibrant. And we cannot just decide to stop somewhere and sit and wait for nature to take its place. So we need to push a vibrant women. We need to see that policies and whatever legal issues are pushed towards Zambia that will bring the women to the table, that will bring the women to the decision-making positions, that will bring our women to where most of the things or all of the things that will require the women and girls to participate in, we ensure that we secure the space on that table, they sit and be part of the decision making. So really, it's just wanting to see the women and girls that will participate in the leadership of this nation at whatever level.
Okay. Talking about women and girls participating in leadership positions, what is your envision of the society when it comes to the women and girls' rights as NGOCC? What do you envision, since the focus of NGOCC is advocating for the rights of women and girls, gender equity and equality? So what type of future or society are you looking forward to as a women's movement?
Wow, it is just a future and society that has a community-centered interventions. All the people in the country must be part and parcel of how this country is being run. anything that we do, if the community that we lead is not involved, then I think we are doing it without knowing that we are not getting anywhere. So what we need are community-centered interventions, and we hope to advocate for legal and policy reforms that are inclusive. I've already talked about inclusivity. Inclusivity, when I talk about the community, in the community there are different people. There are women, there are girls, there are youths, and also persons with disabilities. So we just need to advocate for policies and reforms that are going to include everyone in society.
Nice. So how does NGOCC collaborate with organizations and stakeholders to actualize this vision?
I think we do a lot of things in terms of collaboration. There are a number of activities that NGOCC cannot implement alone. NGOCC can only implement most of the activities through the cooperating partners, through the government itself. There are certain protocols that government itself has signed on behalf of the country that if NGOCC is not there, they cannot achieve. That is why we collaborate with government, we collaborate with opposition political parties so that we know exactly what they want us to push as the women movement. We know what government wants us to push forward as the women movement. So our collaboration is of course, with the support of cooperating partners, support of government, support of opposition political parties. That is why at the end of the day, when you look at an organization like NGOCC, I always tell people, yes, we run with government, we run with opposition political parties because we are an advocacy organization. So each time there is something that we need to push for, at times we get to work with opposition political parties, especially when it gets to a time like now. A time like now, we work with government, we work with opposition, because we are trying to push a certain agenda, especially when you look at 2026, elections will be coming. What is it that we are doing for our women? What is it that political parties are doing for our women? Are we still going to remain with the lip service that government has always provided, that political parties have always provided? So at the end of the day, we need to collaborate with government, we need to collaborate with opposition political parties, we need to collaborate with other cooperating partners so that we can achieve that which we need to achieve. And this time around, maybe I will speak to that later. Thank you.
Now, talking about the 2026 general elections, the low turnout of women in parliament, the low participation of women in politics, are there any reforms or legislative policies that you are pushing currently as a women's movement to address these issues?
We are trying to push for the operationalization of the Gender Equity and Equality Act. That, I think, will help us in a very big way. We are trying to push for the political party law. That also is going to help. I'm sure you know, that I've already talked about us working with political parties. In the past, I think we have received what I can call, in inverted commas, lip service kind of yes. When we go to political parties like now, we ask them for a proper or equal adoption of men and women. They will say, yes, this is what we intend to do now. At the end of the day, because we cannot hold them against anything, you find that they have done something different. That is why we need to push for reforms. We need to push for policies that will hold any government that will come in office next year accountable to that which we have already agreed on. We've never held any government, successive governments, we've never held any of them accountable. The reason is that they don't commit to anything. This time, we will need commitment. And this time, like I said, maybe I leave this one for later as I close, because I will need to talk to government. I will need to talk to various different opposition political parties at the end of this episode.
I understand that currently there's a campaign that NGOCC is conducting. I've seen it on social media platforms. It is being talked about even through social media influencers called The Her Time Is Now. What really is this campaign all about, and how is it going to help out the women in terms of increasing the participation in politics especially?
Okay, this campaign, I think, is a very good campaign for NGOCC. Like I've said time and again on this interview, that we are trying to push both government and opposition political parties to adopt as many women as up to 50%. Nice. 50% women, 50% men. We are saying that her time is now, as the campaign is going. We want to think that, and we believe that in 2026, if our women will not come on board, it means we have lost the time, we have lost everything that we have invested in our women. We have our women that are ready to take up parliament. We have our women that are ready to take up the councils. We have our women that are ready to take up all and any leadership position. What we don't have is just a push that government and other relevant stakeholders can look at. So we are saying our time is now, is just to communicate to the powers that be that we now want our women to take up their position. And this is the reason why we are saying we are pushing for legal and policy reforms that are going to ensure that our women are taken into account. And I know you may come to ask about the Bill 7 and that we missed the opportunity for our women to be considered, for our women to be counted in Her Time Is Now. Yes, we can say, yes, we missed that opportunity. We missed that opportunity because we did not agree with government on how that could move. I think if you remember in our issues that we have done on the Bill 7, the first one that we issued was that we agree that government begins the process, and then we needed government to be transparent, we needed government to be inclusive, but that did not happen. I'm sure one day government will come back to us, especially when adoptions begin. Government may come back to us and say, but you said no to Bill 7. Yes, we said no to Bill 7 because it did not follow what we needed it to follow. But we still insist that there are other channels that government and other political parties can use to have 50% women, 50% men. I talked about the protocols that have already been signed at international level, at global level. Why can't we use those protocols to ensure that women and men have been adopted in an equal and representative manner? When I say equal and representative manner, I'm trying to mean that when we say Her Time Is Now, we are not talking about getting a woman that is in a, for example, Tonse Alliance or PF to Choma or Mazabuka Central. We are talking about a woman to be from PF to be taken to Mansa constituency. The reason is that, and we should not run away from the fact that elections in Zambia are regional. And political parties have certain regions where they are strong and very weak. So we want the women also to be taken to
the
strongholds of different political parties. And that is what has happened all the time in the past, that our women have been taken to where political parties are very weak, or because I talked about the lip service, or because they want to impress, that women were adopted, that women were given positions, that women, but then they even know that if, for example, a woman from UPND is taken to Kawambwa or Mansa Central, they would definitely not go through. But we will have counted that women were adopted. So we need a fair and representative adoption list that we will look at. We need some commitments also from the political parties that our women will never be left in the cold again.
Now, let's talk about the production of this episode and the whole season of the NGOCC podcast. We've seen a production of 12 different episodes. Well, how do you think the production of these episodes have helped out in addressing some of the pressing issues in society? We have issues of GBV, defilement, rape. Has this production assisted in any way?
Yes. I think the production so far have helped because they have tackled GBV, they have tackled youth empowerment, they have gone in the communities to talk to the marketeers, and already it is showing that we are doing something. And also when you look at the increase in number of cases that have been reported, that partly should be attributed to the episodes that have gone through, and then a lot of people have watched them. I've seen that on our platform, the numbers are increasing, meaning therefore that people are able to see, and because a lot of relevant issues have been tackled, we are very sure that a number of people are enlightened and able to come out in the open in case they have such a problem.
Nice. So what are some of the things that people should look forward to in the second season of the NGOCC podcast, since this is the wrap of the first season?
Wow, that one, I think, firstly, it will be dependent on the producer. But I'm sure when you look at what has been covered so far, you realize that when, at times when you cover something and you look at the response from the people, that will definitely prompt and make you understand that this may be the questions that people are asking, and that is one drive. The other drive is that we need to increase the public engagement and feedback from viewers. So when you take a topic that you think people liked or enhance on it or get something similar to that, you definitely do a good thing. We also need to reach a greater audience. We also need to, especially looking at what is coming or what is ahead of us, that is 2026 elections. We need to embark more on how to educate the masses, how to make people understand their civic rights, and also just looking at the environment the way it is, the way children have been abused, the way incest has been rampant. So we need to tackle all those things. It doesn't matter whether it will be a reputation so many times. When you look at the environment, we need to begin to engage people in the manner that will teach them to curb or to stop or to educate in the area that we think has a problem.
Nice. What are your concluding remarks as we wrap up the conversation? Firstly, to the young girl out there who is inspired by your journey in the women's movement, how you are able to juggle between being a mother, serving in the civil society, in the civil service, and finally to be at the position where you're at today as board chairperson. What would be your word of encouragement? Also, maybe to talk to the young people out there who'd like to engage in politics, especially the women. There's this phobia that the political fraternity isn't that friendly, and women are not easily accepted.
I've heard where people have gotten the campaign materials, they have gotten the vehicles, they've gotten the allowances, and they'll still go back to the Secretary General and say, there is one campaign material missing on our group. And what is that campaign material? They are saying, you have not given us girls to go and entertain us as we go in the field. That must stop. That must stop, because it is discouraging our girls, especially our decent girls, because they know that they will be classified as campaign materials, and yet they are going there as partners in development. So if they are classified as campaign materials, then definitely we are pushing them away. But my encouragement to the girls is that don't be pushed away, state your position, tell those leaders of yours why you have gotten into politics, why you want to be part of and parcel of the development of this nation. Because if you are not there, and tomorrow those that are there are not there, then we will have no one to be there.
That's very nice. Any concluding remarks before we close?
Okay, for my concluding remarks, unfortunately or fortunately, I will dwell so much on the 2026 elections. I've already talked about our girls to get there and don't get scared, be part and parcel of that. I've talked to the political parties, invite the girls, invite the women, invite the people with disabilities, because they must be part and parcel of that. But at the end of the day, this time around, just be rest assured that the women movement will not leave you to come with your lip service. We will make you commit to what we want, and that commitment must be shown on a piece of paper, and that is how we are going to move with you. And also to political parties out there, a political party that is going to give us what the women want is the political party that we will, as the women movement, support. I know we are non-partisan, but we are saying a political party that is going to adopt as many women as we will be satisfied with, that political party we will support. And we will encourage, as we encourage the electorates to vote for our women, is as good as we are encouraging the electorates to vote for that political party. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for granting us this opportunity and for wrapping up our first season of the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you came.
Thank you so much for hosting us. Now, this has been the wrap for the first season of the NGOCC podcast, where we've tackled various issues affecting you and me in society. And on today's episode, I was interacting with the NGOCC board chairperson, Miss Beauty Katebe, who has addressed quite a number of issues. Do remember to stay tuned on our YouTube channel, that is NGOCC YouTube. We are on Facebook as the Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as NGOCC Zambia. So do follow us on these social platforms to stay up to date with most of the projects that we are currently conducting in society and pushing the women's agenda forward. My name is Chivesa Cecilia Mungulube. Till second season, see you and thank you for watching.